Good morning, and thank you for being here with us on the Alabama Way. In our studios this morning, we have attorney Jimmy Calvert, and Mr. Calvert has been with us before, but he's back again with us here on the Alabama Way. And one of the things we wanted to talk about and really kind of get into is wills. And we wanted you to tell us a little bit more about wills, because a lot of people don't have wills and they don't know how important wills are. So could you tell us a little bit about how important a will is, how important it is to someone?
Well, thank you very much, Deborah, for having me back here today. A last will and testament can be the most important document that an individual can sign. You may have heard me say this before, that if you pass away in the state of Alabama as a resident of Alabama without a will, the state of Alabama's got one for you. So rest assured, that will may not be applied the way you want it to apply, but it's best to have something in your own words, your own writings.
Okay, now when you say, we're saying last will and testament, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now explain that.
A last will and testament is a document that directs who will take your personal property, your real estate, and who you want to conduct the affairs of your estate, known as an executor or personal representative.
Okay.
If you have a minor child, you can appoint a guardian and a conservator for the minor child.
Okay, now. Okay, don't go too fast for us here.
Yes, ma'am.
Guardian and conservator, explain that.
Yes, ma'am. A guardian is the protector of the person. It's where a child will live, what school district to consider, and they protect the child. A conservator is a protector of any monies, any funding, any royalties that they may be entitled to as according to their parents' will or their estate or last will and testament.
Okay. Now, what doesn't fall under a last will and testament?
Generally, IRA accounts, 401ks, and life insurance will not fall into someone's estate because they already have a beneficiary assigned to those particular accounts or policies. Again, the last will and testament directs real estate, personal property, and who you want to appoint as a personal representative, and also a guardian and conservator for a minor child. And areas of someone's life that will not fall into a last will and testament or an estate would be life insurance, retirement plans. For example, when a life insurance policy does fall, or the benefits from a life insurance policy does fall into someone's estate, is when the beneficiary passed away prior to the owner of the policy. Okay? If that were to happen in that case, the life insurance company would not have someone to write a check out to, write the benefits to. So they'll make it out to the estate of the owner of the policy that passed away. One very important matter to consider is on your checking and savings account. If you do not have an individual with you on your checking and savings account, you may want to consider a paid at death individual. If you put a paid at death individual, or a son or a daughter or anyone you want to, they would not have any signature authority or any authority on the account. Only upon the death of the individual owner of the account, the paid at death individual can present a certificate of death and proper ID to the bank, and the bank will release the funds to that assigned individual.
Okay, now you mentioned beneficiaries. Is it good to have more than one beneficiary, just in case, or just one beneficiary?
To answer your question, most of the wills that I do in my office for couples are mirror image wills where everything goes to husband and wife, and then if something were to happen to the husband and wife together or upon the last to pass away, the child or the children would receive their estate. And in most wills, we have what we call percerps. That means that if a child passed away, then their children will receive their parents' benefit. So you can assign a beneficiary, an alternate beneficiary, if you please. But for the most part, mirror images are commonplace in my office. Or if someone's a single individual, with children. They'll announce their children as beneficiaries and then their children's children as alternate beneficiaries.
Okay. Now, what is the power of attorney?
A power of attorney is a document an individual can sign known as a principal of the document. And that principal can assign an agent, a power of attorney, to act upon for them in case they cannot act for themselves. Conditions to apply for the power of attorney to spring into action can be immediately or upon the incapacity of the principal determined by a treating physician.
Okay.
And then the agent will have duties. For the most part, they can do just about whatever the principal could have done if they were not in that particular state of mind or absent. They can open accounts, close accounts, pay debts, pay taxes, contract with realtors, attend a real estate closing in case funding needed to be found to take care of the principal, matters like that.
Okay. Now, there's a difference between now the last will and testament and a living will, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what's a living will?
The living will is better known, well, legally known as an advanced medical directive for health care, but commonly known as a living will. One of the two are the same. It's the advanced medical directive for health care. And within the advanced medical directive for health care, an individual can choose what they do and do not want under two particular areas of occurrences, that being in a terminal illness or a permanent state of unconsciousness. That they do want artificial nutrition hydration or they do not, and they do want life support measures or they do not. And also within the body of the advanced medical directive, also known as living will, you can appoint a health care power of attorney. And it's separate from the financial side. This is for health care purposes. And depending on what's in the body of the advanced medical directive under the health care power of attorney, what duties they are allowed to do, for the most part, they can talk to doctors, talk to nurses, talk to hospital officials, if someone were to be into that particular state, and relay information back to other individuals. Or they can also make decisions what doctors that they would see, what hospitals they may attend, what clinics, and also possibly be able to pick up medication.
Okay. Now, is there a certain age that we need to start thinking about wills? You know, a lot of times we, especially young people, say, "Oh, I'm too young to do that now." But do you see, is there a certain age that you need to think about doing a will?
Well, be of age of majority, age of 19. If you own real estate, please get a will. Many real estate closing attorneys will expand their practice to recommend a last will and testament be done, for example, during a closing to try to get extra business. But though then again, it really is important because one of the reasons why a family or more or less an estate has to be administered is to transfer real estate. That may be one of the most common reasons on the general side of life to probate a last will and testament or open up an estate. But if you have real estate in your name, you have minor children, get a last will and testament. Even if you don't have children or minor children or real estate, please get a will, because if something were to happen to an individual and, for instance, a wrongful death lawsuit needed to be filed, if you had a last will and testament, you already have an executor appointed who you want that person to be to conduct the affairs of a potential claim against a tortfeasor for death, you already have it in place. And if you have a last will and testament, your estate can get opened quicker and at a much lower cost.
Okay. Mr. Calvert, can we get in touch with you to talk about a will? How can we do that?
Yes, ma'am. Certainly so. As earlier mentioned, my name is Jimmy Calvert, and I do practice in the area of estate planning. And my direct phone number is area code 205-541-9999. 9864. I have an office in Birmingham and also St. Clair County. And my website is jimmycalvert.com.
And thank you.
Thank you.